College football week 5 has come to a close, and I have to say I'm very sad that another week commenced, but very happy to see a whole bunch of craziness and silliness. Colorado's going on a craziness of a spree. Alabama takes care of business against Georgia. Miami gets a bit of a scare, and I got some key takeaways. We're going to go over those things. We're going to review some of the games, as well as give a full recap, a little bit expedited for the Miami-Virginia Tech game. I didn't get to it. I'm sorry, boys. I had a crazy busy weekend, so we're going to get to that. So first things first, appreciate y'all supporting these videos this weekend. Appreciate all the new viewers. Appreciate a like on this video if you like the video. Dislike if you don't like. Comment who your team is in the comments and tell me how y'all gonna make it to the playoffs. Tell me the game plan. All right. First things first, I gotta talk about my week 5 takeaways after watching the games. First things first, I got my eye pizzy down here in my notes section, right? Them freshmen, they were made in the lab. Some of these points I'm gonna elaborate on. Some of these points I won't elaborate on. But I need to get them out into the ether, and then of course we're gonna hop into the games and kind of review some stuff. Starting first with this particular game right here, being Virginia Tech. But again, key takeaways. Alabama is the real deal. I'm not sure if anyone needed to know that, but now we do know it. Travis Hunter is the Heisman. I don't like that one. I'm not going to elaborate on. Ashton Jeanty is a savage. I say his name wrong every time, so please get in the comments and tell me how to say his name correctly. FSU. Wow. Next, UNILV. Them boys rolled Fresno State. I guess they didn't need old Sluka, but don't disrespect Sluka's name. But we'll get into that. That one we might need to elaborate. Coach Jason Brown is a Klein. You know Coach Jason Brown, everybody's favorite Netflix head coach and media personality. I'm not gonna elaborate on that one either way. You know he's a funny guy. He can take a joke. SEC, they're frauds. Ole Miss. I'm just going to keep moving. The ACC is an embarrassment, and the Big 12 looks interesting. That's what I'm going to leave there. Not going to elaborate many of those. Some of those might be their own video. But starting here, let's talk about Miami bleeding. Miami is shown, as my camera completely breaks, that they can bleed a little bit. And I want to talk about this game purely from a breakdown standpoint. Let's get into the box score as well. And obviously, everybody wants to talk about this catch. I know. So first off, super cool that that guy made so much money, that quarterback coach for them. Everybody wants to talk about the catch. I got so many different angles of the catch. I got copyright free angles of the catch, dog. That's like next level. So that's how you know something was real serious, when you got copyright free angles of stuff. You get this is the reaction to it. Everybody going crazy. And then I got the actual, here it is, copyright free angles, boys. Copyright free angles. So we're just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just let y'all see it from this angle. I'm not gonna say if it's a catch or not. What we are gonna do is talk about the game as this is in the background. So first things I want to talk about is Cam Ward. And I was talking about this actually with my lady, and she said something about people who are very talented, and I really agreed with what she said. And she was like, and I was telling her, I was like, my only issue with Cam Ward is that he is too confident. And I said that, I was like, but it's not a bad thing. It's just like, that's the only bad thing about him. Like, he thinks and he thinks that he can make every single throw and do everything. I said that early on. I think he threw like some weird crossbody interception. And you'll see his interceptions aren't like, they're not just what are you doing? It's like, oh, I see what you were doing there, but maybe wait like a half a second. Maybe, maybe wait till he turns around. Maybe, what I'm saying? Like, it's always stuff like that. So to elaborate further upon that, like, he is so smooth in the pocket. He is so in control. He is so, as the kids call, he's got a lot of aura. He's oozing with it. But the dude's a dog. The kid's a dog. He really showed that he could be multidimensional, showed his legs. And I really appreciate that part of a game, that he uses it when he needs to. But again, I don't think this game was lost because of Cam Ward, but it was ugly. I mean, we had some fumbles, I think multiple interceptions. It wasn't the greatest performance for him. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's all because of that overconfidence, and that's why he made such amazing passes and such amazing plays, and that getting tackled by 2 people, and then he Euro stepped it out there. That was crazy. So he's an absolute dog. If the worst problem that you have is that you're too confident, I think he's going to be doing okay. But he's just got to shore it up a little bit. He's got to, yeah, I don't want to say take more time, but I just settle in a little more. You know what I'm saying? Because everything else he does is great typically. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to add something upon that, and this is why I say they can bleed. That Virginia Tech defense, they were drawing some things up. They were giving him fits. They were coming at that offensive line in a lot of different ways. And granted, to Miami, they were picking it up a lot of times. It wasn't that they were losing a lot of the times one-on-one. It's that they were sending a lot of weird looks, and I think that was kind of getting into, like, there were sometimes where it was clean pockets and Cam was like, he had to kind of like think about it. He had to start looking at the pockets. Other times they were sending stunts plus a backer plus a weird angle guy, and it was just getting through. You had backers taking on running backs, and they were dirty pockets. I'll give credit to Miami's offensive line. A lot of those pockets were good, and he could have stayed in them, and they were tight. They were there, but Miami the offensive line wasn't completely defeated. But they were getting whooped a lot of times too. I don't want to say that they weren't. They lost their fair share too, but I think it was just effective pressure from Virginia Tech, right? I just don't want to say that they dominated Miami, but man, the scheme that they came up with, I think they're a little bigger than Miami was expecting. They came with a little more tonnage, right? And they came right in their face about it. So I think that was an interesting little matchup there. And of course, you have the catch that might be a catch that might be an interception that nobody knows what is and what isn't and what ain't. My opinion is I don't have an opinion on it. We got a lot of games to talk about. So let's keep going and keep wrapping things up. I still think Cam Ward is a diggly dog. I think he's going to do phenomenal things. 343, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. That's not a bad day. 2 interceptions and a fumble is not phenomenal, though. Oh, yeah, drones. This kid can sling it around the yard, too. 19 for 33, 189, 2 touchdowns. Again, both Cam Ward, Mr. Drones, and then, of course, Shedeur Sanders have the same quarterback coach. It's a cool little thing. And Drones and Cam Ward are like cousins, so that was cool, too. Yeah, this dude was toting that thing, dog. Rachel Tootin. Getting after with the run game, and of course Mr. Drone was getting wiggly himself too. Very dynamic players. Watch out for Virginia Tech. I know the schedule looks nasty. They play this Miami team pretty well, and Miami is not a top 5 team as I was preaching for the start of the season. But let's kind of get into the rest of these games here. Let's go just straight to these scores. To have a few conversations about some conversation, All right, so Texas, Mississippi State, Arch and the gang look a little rusty, look a little shooketh a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We struggle a little bit from the offensive side. By the way, I'm a Texas fan, so I'm a terrible person, of course, as you know. Mississippi State came with a lot of spunk and a lot of passion, but they are the worst team in the SEC. Look, this is, I'm not mad at this. It's a backup quarterback, guys. We're completely different right now. We're waiting back for Quinn Ewers. So the fact that we're able to handle what we're handling, offensive line still looks good. Defense didn't let up too many points. I think that for the circumstances that we have right now, we're doing what we need to do. That was an obvious situation going against a team that by week 5 already had nothing to lose. That's crazy, Mississippi State. I didn't think that I thought this would be Vandy, but they already have nothing to lose. So that could have been a weird game, especially if you've been watching Texas football for a while, like I have. We succumb to those trap games, boy. Oh, my God. A nice Iowa State in November or something crazy just to get us going. But regardless, that happens. Georgia-Alabama game, had a recap about that. Like I said, Alabama stakes their claim. Ryan Williams. Wow. Jalen Milroe. I told you. Ohio State absolutely throttles Michigan State. Michigan State is just a sad football team from what I can see, with a lot of bright spots too. They got a nasty rookie wide receiver. I think he was still injured, I believe. But Michigan State has a bright future. They've been bad in the past. I should correct that. I don't mean that they're terrible right now. It was Ohio State, and this is only their second loss. And second loss in conference play, or first loss in conference play. So maybe I'm too hard on them. I just expect them to be terrible. But they've got a few. They've got some players though out there. Spartans do. But Ohio State just has too much girth and tonnage, meaning they just have too much firepower. Jeremiah Smith. Yo, These kids are 17 and 18. By the way, I'm not the oldest fry in the bag at the bottom of your Five Guys bag that you have in the back of your Honda Civic from 2006. Like, I am relatively, as the kids would say, youngish. You know what I'm saying? I'm pre-unk status. This is making me feel like a geezer, dog. 17-year-old Ryan Williams doing matrix moves and job scapping. Well, after we were talking about the what's it called? After we talk about the games individual, we'll get into some tweets and look at some clips. I gotta go deep in there to find them non-copyright joints from the sideline because the SEC will clap you up. Fox will too. But yeah, they just make me feel really sad about what I am as a person because they are freaks of nature. So keep doing what they're doing, the way they do it. Ohio State looks good. Kentucky versus Ole Miss also had reacted to this. Hey man, Ole Miss is just Lane Kiffin teams have the audacity or propensity to be frauds. Jackson Dart needs to be able to galvanize this team a little bit more for them to be a little more consistent. But hey, I've always been a little on Jackson Dart, so I'm not going to dogpile on the kid after losing to goddamn Kentucky. Oregon, getting their stride. They're looking good. They're doing what they need to do as a top 10 team. I think they're going to be slated in a pretty good place and space to go ahead and sneak into the college football playoff. Them in Penn State, I don't know if there's going to be enough room for both of them, but I think both of these teams are going to silently get into it because talk about Penn State. This game, they beat a really, really good, and why is it so far over here? I'm so sorry, boys. Luckily the things that we were looking at wasn't too pressing. Move you over just a little bit here so you can see what I'm talking about. Hey, you see here, Penn State is also a team that's just quiet and handling business. They've just been doing what they need to do, how they need to do it. I think another team, like I talked about in my last video, is going to probably sit around 8, sit around 9. They're going to hover right there. Might lose a game or two, right? You know what I'm saying? And then stumble their way somehow into the playoffs. They beat a really good Illinois team with the stat defense and a decent little offense there. So handle business there. I like that. I like that a lot. Arizona beats Utah, but again, can I get it in frame? They're having an issue with Cam Rising, obviously, so I don't think they thought the season was going to go in the way that it's going right now. I also don't think Arizona thought they were going to have the one loss that they had going into it, but this is good. They start 1-0 in Big 12 play. You know what I'm saying? Take McMillan does big things. Fiftas, I don't know how to pronounce these super athletic Polynesian people's names, but they're really good at football and they have hard to pronounce names because I am not a scientist. I apologize. But again, phenomenal at football. They be slinging it around the yard there. Arizona looks like they could. And this is what I meant. Like, the Big 12 looks interesting. I don't know what to make of the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is what we thought, or at least I thought the ACC was. I had a little more faith in the ACC than I think I should have. Michigan takes care of business. Again, this is not indicative. This score, they scored 21 in the fourth, so this was not. They were handling business until this end, and their offense being as lethargic and non-explosive as it is, they could not score anymore getting into the second half there. Hey, Miller Moss looking good, looking sharp. I like Miller Moss. I did not like USC, to be honest, coming into the season. Everything else they've shown, even in their losses, that they've shown good stuff. So, hey man, I think USC is a good little squad, and I think they've got a bright future within the Big Ten. But we'll see what happens. Tough loss for Wisconsin. They're going to have a rough, long day. LSU versus South Alabama. Is what it is. This is a game that shocked me, and I do want to look at the game cast here, or at least the box score. Riley Leonard takes care of some business with 2 touchdowns, 17 for 23. Not only that, but is the team's leading rusher. This is how you get the job done. I think they had some picks here. Let me see. Louisville had basically 1 fumble loss, and then I'm trying to see how many picks that he threw, and he threw a pick. So you got 2 turnovers there. I'm assuming those result in some bad days and bad times. Notre Dame just pours it on early, and then LSU just kind of has to chase the rabbit for the rest of the game. And the only reason why I want to talk about this is because I was very high looking just at the numbers. When you look at the numbers, and I also said, if y'all watch my last preview video to come into this week, that this week is going to be what determines if these rankings that we've been looking at, these numbers, these top number one offense, defense, and that what does it really mean? Because conference play starts, and that's when things get niddlier and grittier. Louisville is a team that was in the top 10s in defense, top 10s in offense, scoring defense. All like they were a shining example, and what a lot of people thought to be a decent little dark horse to end up in the ACC championship. Losing to Notre Dame like this in this fashion is not going to help you. It's not going to help your case. We know Notre Dame is a de facto ACC team because that's probably the only league that they could compete in. So it is what it is in the Chicken Whiz. Louisville does not bode well for what they got cooking. I hate to see it. I thought they were a promising squad that could do some things. They're not a always household name, so I'll love to see that. But Clemson is just looking better and better. Cade Klubnik, that dude is looking like a guy that Kirby would want to add to his team. We can see it now. Houston is a disgrace to the state of Texas. But Iowa State handling business, winning on the Big 12. They always usually have a decent squad. K-State is looking like a wagon of a squad there. I don't know. Again, Big 12 is looking like a weird situation here. Oklahoma State, they need to find an identity. I don't know what's going on. Auburn just finds a way to lose. That was not convincing from Oklahoma. If you're a Texas fan, you are afraid of this quarterback. You are afraid of the scrappiness. You are afraid of this defense who, oh, my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. They can get after it. But, yeah, Auburn lost this game. Oklahoma didn't win it. BYU has a defense on them, but going close to Baylor is not the best thing you want to see, especially when we've seen some things that Baylor's done. Maybe we're underrating Baylor too much. That could be possible. Arkansas and Texas A&M, that results in a Texas A&M win. Arkansas, I think they just played a sloppier game. I like Arkansas. I like the talent. I like the player. I like the quarterback. They just played a sloppy game, to be honest with you, and just gave it up. Boise State versus Washington State. Boise State, I'm not Boise State. You know who, Mr. Gentry ran for 7,000 yards. I know we talked about it. Look at this man. 259, 4 touchdowns. Is that legal? I don't know, man. And we talked about the Colorado game. We have that recap. You can go check that out. We talked about the FSU game. Y'all can go check that out. Very interesting week. Oh, by the way, both of the the big bad boys that serve this country, both of the cadets are undefeated. What are they called? I forgot. The joints that do the thing with the thing. You know what I'm talking about. They are undefeated, so that's great to see. We're gonna pop through these bookmarks, I think, really quick. And just take a peek at some things. And then after that, there's the Heisman hopefuls. Travis Hunter apparently is coming in at number 3 from some random dude. Ryan Williams confirms that he is, in fact, 17 years old after beating the Georgia Bulldogs. Switches his profile picture to Michael Vick holding a dog. Interesting. Travis Hunter. Not much else needs to be said. I appreciate y'all joining this recap. It went a little bit longer than I thought. We took some time talking about Miami. Again, really appreciate all the new viewers. Appreciate y'all checking out. Remember to comment what I told you to comment, because I forgot what I told you to comment. Leave a like on this if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it, man. Be amazing. Be beautiful. Subscribe if you want to watch college football videos, and we will see you the next time around.